raising from strategic investors. So it seems like one of them is Chai-Fed's group. So they're backed by a billionaire, and they also own like St. Louis Shock, which is a professional pickleball team. So of course, like building a strong like franchisor foundation is important, but it's also important to be like in a space that's growing, right? So what are your insights on like the growth of pickleball in the coming years
Yeah.
or decades, and with like it seems like the final goal being like the Olympic sport.
Yeah. Yeah. We like to call ourselves the underground kings of pickleball because people don't realize how involved we are in the pickleball space, right? Strategically. Like I would show up to I went to the first Major League Pickleball event and we had one facility, and my goal was I am going to get everyone's phone number in this space, and I'm going to tell my story, and we're going to let them know what we're going to do. And it took 3 years for us to finally start to show the world what we're doing. But along the way, we met some amazing people in the space, right? So we own part of a Major League Pickleball now, Major League Pickleball team, which if you guys look up Major League Pickleball and ownership, got guys like LeBron and Tom Brady, a bunch of these guys, KD, a bunch of people that believed in the sport. Gary Vee's team just took second place yesterday. You got people that really believed in the sport, and so we made partnerships with them. Also along the way, Pickleball Inc., they're the largest pickleball entity in the world. They are on our cap table. They're the PPA, they're the tour. We can call Connor Pardo, who's we think is probably the most important person in pickleball, and we can have a conversation with him anytime we want, right? Because he also understands our partnership and that the Picklr is distribution, right? We are distribution from pro shops to amateurs, right? We will have thousands of people come through our facilities, and the hopes are that by the end of the year, we'll have 80, 90, right? And so the Picklr, I think, can be the forefront of growing the game. And we have to be very careful and mindful of how the game is grown, right? We're strategically trying to make sure that along the way we have a seat at the table and we're having conversations on what's most important to the game. So we have great relationships with the PPA when it comes to our youth. Our youth academies are going to continue to grow, and they have access to the junior PPA, and one day they'll have a path to the pros, right? And so ultimately for us, we're solving a couple of issues. Number one, there's still not enough courts in the United States. We are about 25,000 courts short in the US, which is crazy to think. I mean, when you're trying to supply courts for 38 million people, it's a land grab at this point. People are trying to put up courts in a warehouse and hope that people will come. We know that's going to be a lot harder for people to do, right? And so we're trying to grow the game where in a way that we provide a lot of value in our facilities, from the way it looks and feels to what the membership offers. And then number two, we're working closely with partners so that we can get to the Olympics, right? I was in Lima, Peru, just a little bit over a month ago, where 32 teams from across the world participated in the World Cup. And it was the coolest thing I've ever been a part of in my life, because it gave me a little bit of insight of what a young sport can look like in the Olympics. And I can tell you, and I can promise you, if it gets to the Olympics, it will be one of the most attended and watched events, because how passionate people are about pickleball and supporting their countries. You tag that along with the pride of representing your country, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So I'm very excited to see. People only talk about the growth of the United States. It is trending so dang good everywhere else. I mean, you name it, from Australia to Japan to Peru to Mexico. The game is growing internationally, and I think we're going to see a growth of pickleball like we've never seen in 2025 and into 2026.
So like how important is investing into like technology or AI in like this business that is,
Hugely important. And the reason being, so our technology partner right now for the AI portion of the game is Wingfield. They're based out of Germany. Wingfield primarily used to do tennis, and they saw an opportunity in pickleball to, there's not a clear-cut leader when it comes to AI in this space. A lot of people are trying to do it. It's very difficult to do, but these guys have a track record when it comes to tennis, and so they are a hardware that sits at the facilities that provides a lot of data points, and we're helping them build that out. And the reason why it's so important, the 3 pillars of the Picklr that we talk about and we incorporate into everything we do is connect, dink, and compete. The connect part, the community-based, the community interactions that happen on a daily basis because of pickleball. There's a reason why so many people want to play, because it's so community focused. Number 2, dink. Pickleball is meant to be fun. Dink is a pickleball term where you're playing at the kitchen. You're trying to get to the kitchen with the people you're playing with, but ultimately dinking around you should be having a good time. But then the competition side, right? Pickleball brings out competition out of people. I mean, and hopefully you guys didn't see this, but it trended everywhere last week where a match got so heated, the guy slapped a paddle out of someone's hand and went to go pick it up, and he got kicked in the face. And I was like, that's the wrong competition we want to see. It was on TMZ, it was on Barstool. Like, I couldn't believe how it was trending everywhere. But where I'm going with this is that people are so passionate about wanting to get better at their game, right? I told you the sports I grew up playing. I don't sit at the 3-point line or the free throw line or do dribbling drills to get better at basketball at this age. But in pickleball, I'm willing to put in the time and effort to get a little bit better. And so to have a technology partner in AI that gives me the ability to review film, to understand where my miss shots are happening, from my volleys to my serves to my third drops to, you name it. This machine's going to be able to feed you a lot of information. So it's important just because people want to get better at this game, and it's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, because again, you don't see grown people, practicing their 40 or doing tackling drills. But in pickleball, you're willing to invest the time to get better, and it's one of the most unique things I've ever seen.